Hey, my name is Kathy Bailey. I didn't even say anything yet, so you know. I guess I should just accept the applause before I say something.
Yes.
I chair Nativity's Creation Care Committee, and so this month we have been focusing on environment, creation care, and make sure you read the bulletin. We have some great speakers for the next 2 weeks. And you got me today. So we're going to, one of the things when the Creation Care Committee met a couple of years ago, one of the things we talked about was Creation Care Tip of the Week. So it was ideas about things you can do at home, everyday sorts of things, and how do we share that information? So about a year ago, maybe a little bit more, the Creation Care Committee created a list of this tip of the week. And if you see the Sunday bulletin, or if you're reading the e-blast, we usually have the tip of the week in there. So I hope that they've been helpful for you, but lots of people miss that. So we're going to talk about some of those tips of the week. And I want this to be interactive, so please, my goal is to walk away with a new tip of the week, and I hope that each of you has an opportunity to walk away with a tip of the week as well. One of my tips is my coffee cup, which I have to tell you, I have a lot of reusable coffee cups. This one is the best that I have ever had. I am not kidding you.
It is great.
It is great. I have two that I use interchangeably because sometimes I've taken 2 cups of coffee with me. And the other one is cold within 15 minutes. And this one, if I put boiling water in here, hot coffee, it is really literally too hot to drink even an hour later. And I was like, oh my goodness. So.
And see Connie and Draco for
for
your coffee mug.
The youth ordered these last year. The youth ordered these last year as a fundraiser, and we sold them, I think, with the spaghetti dinner. I think it was a sale with the spaghetti dinner. But there are some left if anybody wants. How much do they cost? $20
for the youth.
For Nativity for a youth organization. So I'll remind you about that before you leave. There's a bunch on the table back there. So hook up with Connie. She'll get you set up. So I'm just curious. What is your favorite environmental tip? What's your favorite? Your environmental tip. So what one thing that you really enjoy doing that is good for the environment that you have managed to incorporate into your life? Go right ahead.
This is not anything like huge, but I make my kids walk to and from school. Like even when they ask to drive in the car, I'm like, it's 5 blocks, you can walk. Like if it's bad weather, we'll drive, but otherwise we won't.
The kids walk 5 blocks to school. That's fabulous. Oh my gosh, that is
nice
really
to be outside, you know.
Yeah, I love that. Anybody else? Who's got a favorite tip of the week? Yes, Laura.
Well, I don't know whether this is really in your line or not, but for years I've had a little compost bucket on my sink. And I put all of my vegetable scraps in there and then do a compost heap outside because I can't stand it in the garbage.
Excellent. Compost, and you keep it on the side of the sink.
You can buy,
a little compost for your counter.
You can buy a metal one that has little air holes at the top. And it's only about 3 quarts, something like that.
Okay.
But it's big enough to get through a day or so.
So you've got a small container, and then you have a compost bin out in your yard.
Yes.
That you move it from the sink area back out to the compost bin. I have to tell you my compost story. I'm not allowed to have compost where I live in a condo development, and I'm not allowed to have compost. So I was telling my friends, oh, I'm so upset because I really would love to compost my vegetables scraps, but I don't know where to go with them. And my friend Marcy said, I have a compost bin. Why don't you drop them off at my house? And so now don't hate me, I use a plastic Ziploc bag, which I reuse 100 times. I reuse 100 times. Put all my vegetable scraps and put it in the freezer.
Yeah.
And I just keep it in the freezer until I have a chance to drive over to her house, or if I'm going past her house. And I drop them off, and her and her husband are wonderful. They put a little kitty litter box outside their garage door, just for me to drop off my compost. So I just drop off my compost when I'm driving past. But putting that in the freezer, who knew that was a thing? I didn't know you could do that. So that's how I love that, composting your vegetable scraps. Who else has a great tip?
Yeah, this is going to sound really conceited, but I really like having a Keurig or one of those. And Keurigs are awful when it comes to recycling. So I bought an espresso, which it comes with bags that all of the little things go into, and you mail it back to them, and they recycle it, and it's free.
Okay, so your espresso
Yes.
machine
Yes.
has a recycling system with the company
Yes.
that you can buy their coffee, and then you also can send back the stuff.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
See, companies are getting on board with people saying, I agree with you about the Keurig. I mean, that's tough. You know, those little Keurig pod things, and then I tried the reusable ones,
Right.
and that didn't work so good. It didn't really work for me. I switched to tea, actually. Just made my life so much easier. Anyway, who else? Who else has an idea?
And I haven't done this recently, but with all the junk mail, I mean, just stacks and stacks. I, at one point in my life, had started calling all the companies that were sending me catalogs and said, take me off your list. And that actually dramatically reduced the, I don't know what to do with political ads now, but just the categories that come, because you purchase something and the next thing you know, there's 5 different companies that your name was sold off to. So I called them to say, take me off their list, and that worked for a little while.
And they actually,
And
so
they
you
stopped.
get catalogs in the mail that you didn't really want, you
Right.
call the company,
Right.
and they take you off their list, which
Yeah,
is
and then-
great. I never would have trusted that they would actually do that.
Well, and you find out where, like, I'm a member of the American Academy of Pediatrics, and they had one letter of my name misspelled, and then I saw who they sold my name off to,
Yes,
so
yeah.
which is infuriating, but
I-
calling them, they'll take you off.
They'll take you off the list. So if you want to stop receiving those catalogs, I don't think I get catalogs anymore. I don't know how they stopped, but maybe I just moved and they didn't get forwarded. That's probably what it was when I moved. I never forwarded my address. Excellent. Who else has an idea of their favorite? Barry, go right ahead.
Turn off the water when I'm brushing my teeth.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Every morning.
Turn off the water when you're brushing your teeth. Yeah, that is, and that becomes such an easy habit once you pay attention to it and practice doing that. It's just.
I don't know if this is recycling, being conservative, or just my plain being cheap.
That works
I
too.
unplug everything.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
I thought, what harm is it if I unplug the router and the TV? It would just be like the power going out. So I have everything plugged into a little toggle switch.
Yeah.
Hit the switch, unplug the computer, unplug the coffee pot. You know.
I love that. So all those appliances and
Anything
really
that has a light, they said, is drawing energy.
drawing energy. So it's got an on switch that has a green light or a red light so that you know whether it's on or off. I've even seen, and I don't really understand this, I've even seen people talk about a toaster, which I don't really, I mean, I have a little plain old ordinary little toaster, and it doesn't seem like it's drawing power, but I unplug it anyway. I'm not sure. So I love that idea, unplugging those appliances. Or Arlene's idea is putting it on a strip with a toggle, so you just have to flip them back on. You know, same thing, my TV, my cable box, and something else is all plugged in on one strip to make it easy to turn on and off. You do have to give them a moment to turn back on, though. You have to have a little bit of patience. If you need the instant on. Hi, Barbara.
I don't know if this is my favorite, but back to the cure. We found a company online that their pods are compostable and they come in bags which are compostable.
Excellent.
And we like the coffee.
And you like the coffee. Compostable bags and cups. Is that like you can use in a Keurig or that kind of a pot? Now, do you have a compost bin?
No, because I live in a condo.
And a
too.
development.
I have no more shop, so.
So the struggle, so what do we know about compostable that ends up in landfill? So it's great to say this stuff is compostable, but what's happening is a lot of it, and I don't know percentages, so I'm not an expert. I'm just a person who's trying to do the right thing. You buy compostable, but then it goes in a garbage can, which goes to a landfill, and it gets buried. And for things to decompose, they require oxygen. And if they're buried in a landfill, they don't ever get exposed to oxygen, and therefore they never decompose. Which is a real big struggle, because you try to do the right thing of buying things that are compostable, but yet the system out there, the trash hauling system out there, is not allowing those things to decompose. So I don't know what the answer to that is. You have an answer?
Portland, Maine,
Okay.
has a private company that you buy into. They pick up your compostables and they go back out to a farm where they decompose, and in return you get a bucket of organic soil. And they make money off of this.
Wow.
But so it just means we have to change the way that we think about things, and you can profit off of compostables. I mean, there's a way to do it.
We were just, Alan, were you going to share about a kind of city
Minneapolis and
that's
San Francisco
San
also
Francisco.
permits you to put your compostables out with your recycling.
Yeah, so some cities, and some of you were with us, the Lehigh Valley, let me tell you about the Lehigh Valley Green Face Circle is an environmentally supportive group who is people of faith, of all different faiths. Most of us are all in the Bethlehem area. And we just held a film festival. You probably saw some ads for that in the bulletin if you've been reading this Sunday bulletin. If you've not, don't tell me. We just held a film festival, and on Friday night we watched Kiss the Ground, which is a documentary about farming and sustainable farming. And they were talking about cities that have started composting as part of trash collection. You've got your paper, you've got your plastic and your glass, and then you've got your food scraps. And, that's something that we can talk to our city people, city council, and try to support them doing something like that. Yeah, that would be great. Then those of us, like Barb and I, who live in a place where you're not allowed to do composting, yeah, we really could be able to do that.
So the city of Easton has a compost program at Lower Hackett Community Garden, where it's self-serve, you just go and drop it off. So, if you're in a place that you're an apartment or condo, but you want to compost, you can put it in a Tupperware with a big lid and take it once a week or whatever.
How did you find that? Did you just Google that?
I was familiar with it, and I just Googled it to see what the current, we do backyard composting, so we don't do it, but I wanted to see if it was still going on. Do you want me to send...
What's the name of the place?
It's called Easton Compost Program. The link is in the Easton Farmers Market. And,
Okay.
if anyone's interested, just grab me after the thing and I can share the link with you.
That's great, yeah, Connie.
Would we be able to on Nativity's website actually have a creation care section next door? This is the website.
Next door,
So that
yeah.
we could have resources to, to different things like in
Things like
the
that.
area of how people can solve.
Yeah, having resources, I mean, I think that is a great idea, and I think that's definitely something that's on the Creation Care Committee's list of things to do. You know, we just haven't gotten to it yet. There's been a lot going on, so. Yeah, definitely a good thing. Right, so, yeah, we'll have to look into the details about what that looks like and where we can access it, and I don't know, well, definitely on our list of things to do. Annie, put that on your list of things to do for the committee. Yeah, go right ahead.
But if you can, it's great to buy compostables, but like you said, if it goes to the landfill, so if you can change your consumption patterns so that you're using one of those mesh gold filters when you make your coffee in like a more traditional coffee pot instead of any kind of K-cup if you can't compost it, then like if you think about like upstream and not just to change your buying patterns so that you're buying something with less waste, period, versus like, I don't know, like if you go and get your produce and it's in a styrofoam tray, it has plastic versus like you just put it in your own veggie bag.
I have one of those.
Even if the plastic was recycled plastic, like it's better to.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to use, I agree with you. So it's not only buying the appropriate thing, but then how is it packaged, right? That's
Styrofoam.
Styrofoam,
And
yeah.
won't take it anymore and recycle it.
But you know what? The sad thing, and I was in the grocery store just the other day comparing some prices. So I was comparing the price of some chicken, and the cheapest chicken was packed in styrofoam, and the most expensive all natural organic was packaged in plastic. So neither option was great, and I wasn't able to get to the butcher to get, meat in that way. But, if money's an issue, that's a problem if money's an issue for you and your grocery budget is limited. Sometimes you don't really have choices, like the stores are not giving us choices. So finding places, I'm very excited. And I don't know how much you know about the Bethlehem Food Co-op, but they will be opening a grocery store next year. I do only have one flyer left, but there's a flyer up here if you want to look at that. If you don't know about the Bethlehem Food Co-op, they're going to be opening a grocery store that is going to be 80% local produce. So
Is that the one that's gonna be down here?
it is on Broad Street
Oh.
to the 200 block of East Broad. So downtown. Yeah, so exciting things coming, but hopefully that kind of a store, finding the store that's trying to be cooperative. I also heard recently, and I don't shop at Wegmans, but I heard at Wegmans they eliminated plastic bags.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
And they charge 5 cents for the brown paper bag.
So good.
But that's
So that's
money goes
encouraging.
to some charity, I forget what it is.
Yes,
The food bag.
exactly.
For the paper bags.
5 cents to the food bag if you choose to buy a paper bag. You can't buy plastic.
And they're now offering bags that can go for 99 cents that can go in a wash. They're made
Oh.
of recycled products, but they're not the plastic ones anymore.
Yeah.
Like, this is-
I only have one cloth reusable bag, and that came with I don't know. My niece got this some food thing through a CSA, but anyway, that had this is the only one that had that's cloth. The rest are all plastic.
so they're offering-
Now, one of them says it was made out of plastic bottles, which I have to feel a little bit good about that. But the other ones don't say anything, so pretty much I don't know what that means. But yeah, this one I can throw in the washer, which means when my chicken that I bought that's not packaged in plastic is leaking all over the bag, I can clean that up.
You can also easily make your own out of old t-shirts. Seriously.
Make your own bag out of t-shirts.
T-shirts.
Out of old t-shirts.
Does it hold up?
Yeah, they look pretty good. I mean, it depends how old the t-shirt is, I suppose.
I-
Like your t-shirt's like
Good
very
point.
good, but yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm not a great sewer person, so I can do buttons and a hem.
It doesn't take a lot.
Doesn't take a lot, all right, can you Google that? Is that something you can, how to make a reusable grocery bag out of
T-shirt.
Siobhan, you wanted to add something?
Oh,
You know what, like, maybe we could sell them, talk to the youth group.
Seriously, yeah.
There are
sell
so
them.
many cloth bags that are given to you, or other kinds of bags that you can use.
There are many kinds of bags you can use, yeah.
You know, look down in your basement where you just toss all those things, there are other kinds of bags to do. But those Wakeman Smith sell those little nylon bags for produce.
These
Yeah.
little, these produce
So I use
ones.
those are great, you get those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, the produce lasts longer in those bags
They
than
do.
it does in plastic.
I actually leave my produce in this when I get home.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Then instead of leaving it in a plastic bag. Yeah, potatoes, apples. I took the apples out before I came over. Yeah.
Wegmans, huh? I'll have to pop by there.
Yeah. And I mean, you can buy these kind of things at a lot. I mean, everything's available online. I'm curious. I got these at a store called FD Market in Emmaus. They just opened a new store in Easton, which is a sustainable store and refillery. But somebody, and I have to pick up my phone because my niece told me that there is one at Broad and Linden that opened a refillery sustainable store. I took a picture of it. VERDE is the name of the store. They're at Broad and Linden. It opened in September, so just brand new. So I haven't gotten there yet. I only just heard about this on Thursday. I didn't get over there.
There's one in Easton?
Woman,
I think I did see one.
On Northampton, I'm going down to the river on the right hand side.
Oh, right,
Yes.
that's where I get my.
that's
haircut.
FD Market. That's FD Market. That's
Okay.
Sustainable Store on Northampton Street in Easton. They also, their main store is in Emmaus. So I was going to Emmaus, not often, but when I was in that general area. But I'm excited to find out about this store that's dedicated to supporting the environment and local businesses. Let's see what it says here. Items made by Lehigh Valley artisans, and they have a refillery. So I'm excited to check that out. Stores that actually say we are a sustainable store. You know, that is a priority for them. So check it out. It's at 267 East Broad Street, which I think is right where the new Bethlehem Food Co-op grocery store is. How convenient is that going to be? Well, I love it. All right, who else? Who else has a favorite? I'll tell you my favorite. Jane and I were chatting. So 2 Christmases ago, my daughter bought me, she knew I was getting on this environmental kick thing, and she bought me paper towels that are non-paper towels. Now, I have to tell you, this is my favorite sustainable thing, is to use cloth instead of paper towels. But I will tell you, don't buy this. Because it's got, you can look at it, it's got little snaps that snap it, that make it cute. It's really cute. You know, they all snap together and you have them sit on your counter like paper towels. It was just too much of a pain. You know what I mean? It was just too much of a pain. But anyway, I took them all apart and just folded them in half, and I have a pile sitting on my counter. And so I'm not using, I lied. The only thing I use paper towels for is when I make bacon, and I do drain the bacon. I still have one roll of paper towels in my cupboard. You know, they just, yeah. Sometimes you just gotta do that. But 99.9% of my paper towels are now not used, and I'm using cloth. And you could use any cloth. I mean, you could use those old T-shirts, dish rags, bar rags, wash rags, anything. Just fold them up and pile them by your sink where you normally keep your paper towels, and grab one of those instead. Throw it in the washer. Yeah, that's a favorite of mine. Barry, you have another favorite?
Well, and when you go to your washer, you use a laundry pod from the refillery, because then you're not adding plastic into the water source, and you don't have to buy the plastic container that it comes, as much as we might like our Tide. Just take your Tide to the refillery and fill it with the pods that you can get at the refillery that are the best for the environment. They don't have all the water in it.
So laundry detergent has lots of options. You know, of course, the grocery store has like too many juice. I agree with you. It's a little overwhelming and ridiculous for me. But I've actually switched to a paper sheet of laundry detergent, and they have it at the Giant. At the Weiss, I know they sell it now. It is more expensive than paper, but it's literally a sheet of paper that you throw in your washer, and it is laundry detergent. Now, I don't have 2-year-olds at my house, so we're not playing in the dirt. For me, it has been perfectly adequate laundry choice.
What brand do you use? I mean,
I
have
use
4
True.
teenage boys, so like I tried it, it didn't get the smell out.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know. There's 2 brands that I've seen. One I think is called True Earth, and I was going to bring them, and I was going to even tell you to take some home and try it. The one I've been using is True Earth. The other one, I think, is it called Breeze? I don't know. Google it. Yeah.
I have a question on that. I also have young kids, so I can't use little safe products. But at the refillery, does that mean I could go there and get liquid laundry detergent and just reuse my container?
You just have to find out whatever they are selling.
Okay.
So I only know FD Market, which is where I go.
Okay.
They have pods. I think they have laundry pods, but they're loose. So you take your jar, your container, whatever bucket you want, and you pay by the pod. Have you done it?
I think you get your container weighed, and it's by the weight, and so.
Oh, the pods by the weight too?
I can't remember. I think
Yeah,
it's by the weight. I think they have liquid there as well.
So I can just bring my big liquid, because I end up with so many of those, and of course I recycle them, but it's like so many of those liquid containers of the laundry detergent, and it's like, it would be so nice to be able to just refill it.
To just refill that.
Yeah.
And you just need to check with wherever you're going, whoever is doing that, and see what they have available. Like I just take this laundry, now it's plastic, I've had it for I don't know how many years. I just take this when it's empty and clean and say fill this up. They weigh it, they say empty, it weighs this, and then they fill it up, and then I pay per ounce for hand soap or shampoo or cream rinse or the whole list. So you got to find the store you're going to go to their website, see what they've got. Yeah, they'll talk to you about it. You wanted to say something.
Well, I think the big daddy of all environmental events around here was the Northampton County hazardous waste collection, which was this time of year, but it got canceled on account of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And now they've revised it this year just for liquids.
Okay.
But I mean, a fantastic amount of stuff goes. They have tractor trailer loads of tires. They have My big thing is getting rid of fluorescent tubes.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yeah.
I don't know if people are even aware of it, but it was a big thing.
Yeah, the hazardous waste stuff has been huge, and actually, I've been helping Meg Seltzer. Her friend passed away, and she's emptying out this house that, you know, people have lived in for 50 years. You know how that goes. And that house is in Monroe County, and they apparently, she was telling me, her brother was telling me that they have a fabulous environmental waste removal system. And he was very excited. He had, I don't know, I think like 6 boxes of hazardous stuff he was taking over there. But Northampton County hasn't really stepped up, and
They just had it this fall.
They-
They had the event again this fall.
they're gonna do it again.
It just happened.
Oh,
This
we
time.
missed it. Okay,
Oh, isn't that?
okay. Good to know. I mean, I know I checked into it probably a year ago, and we're not doing that right now. And I know what it was. I live in Hanover Township, and I checked into Hanover Township, and they said, oh, we're letting the counties take care of that. So, you know, they're passing the buck of how to get rid of some of that waste. What else? What other things? Go right ahead.
So I love to see all this interest in laundry detergent. Just to tell you, I did try the FD Market Refillery, and they have pods for dishwashers, they have liquid refill for laundry, you bring a clean container, but I actually don't do that because it costs $50 to get like a thing of liquid laundry detergent, like, oh, this is highly concentrated, this will last a long time. I was like, oh, you know. Anyway, $50, and the same thing for the dishwasher pod, very expensive. So, but all of this points to something I think is like really interesting, which is where can you do the most good with your sort of your altruistic inclinations? And so, if you actually buy conventional products and like take that difference of, oh, if I bought organic or I bought laundry detergent for $50, I would lose this money. And give it to a charity that's like doing deforestation work, prevention in the rainforest, and there's some really effective charities that have been flagged. Like that can do much more, but you actually have to like go
Do it.
use the donation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you know, so that's the trade-off is you really have to. I mean, I'm like, oh, I'll just buy my regular detergent, and then I haven't yet dipped in the money, but unfortunately, FD Market it's pricey.
It
And
is.
those bags they sell those at Giant, those produce bags.
These produce bags.
Right at Giant, yeah, in the
Yeah,
produce
they do
section.
sell them at Giant.
So you don't have to go to like a specialty shop to get them.
And you can get, you know, like reusable Ziploc bags, you can get these, like the grocery stores are starting, regular stores are starting to provide this kind of stuff at a more reasonable price than just the sustainability store. I'm so glad you talk about price though, because I told you we were at this movie with there were like 20 people there watching this movie, and we were talking, it was about farming, so we were talking about organic food. And, we were talking about, I said, stores are getting more and more organic food, but it is expensive, and we have to think about our friends who do not have the means. Their grocery, budget is not high enough to include those organic foods. And so somebody stood up, and I don't remember who it was, but somebody stood up and said, but if those of us who really could afford it did it, that would make in a food, from the not laundry detergent, in a food perspective, that would make it more popular, the prices would come down, and we would then be serving our friends who are not as well off as we are in sort of forcing that environmentally appropriate food source and making it more available. And I thought, oh, that was an interesting thought I hadn't really come across before. You think that's really true? I don't know.
So there's a real
Mary's
fascinating.
shaking her head behind you.
No,
No, that's right. Go
I
ahead.
think a lot more.
Yes.
It also, the whole trucking industry, the whole, there's so many interlocking parts to
Parts to
this.
that, that's
It's great that people on their own
micro level wanna do this, but, unions, truckers, big agriculture. It's a huge, obviously it's great, the plastic bags, all those things that we can do on our own, but I don't know, you'd have to have.
How much effect we're having.
We need to start somewhere.
Well, I guess that's part of it is find your place that you're comfortable starting, and that's really the key to this.
Yeah. So there's a really fascinating book called Doing the Most Good by William McCaskill, I think is his name, and it's all about this effective altruism. He has a whole chapter on like if you make your more ethical purchases, will that make a difference? And his basically his bottom line is like no, like it doesn't matter. So like he uses the example of like fair trade coffee, and like it's basically like greenwashing, or that it's very sad, but it would be much better to just buy like your conventional coffee and donate this difference to a highly effective charity. And like a lot of these like fair trade certifications are supposed to be doing like projects in the place, and it doesn't really pan out the way that they're supposed. Anyway, so it was a little demoralizing. But I think if you want to make a change in your personal life that actually has a lot of bang for your buck in terms of good, eat less meat. I'm not saying go all out vegetarian, just like I still love my bacon. You're using your paper towels to drain the bacon. Like maybe you should give up bacon. But I don't know. I'm not going to give it up completely, but like maybe just have meat once a week, right? And that does so much for climate change, to just have more of your own consumption be vegetarian. So.
I was about to say the same thing, and you're right. I mean, it's huge. How do we do this? The laundry pods I actually have shipped because it's a whole lot cheaper than buying them but then I'm also paying the trucker, and even though it comes in a reusable container that you can send back, and I mean, so part of it is I'm trying to appease my own conscience. But what are the larger things that we can do? And we all do everything we can. I agree. I'm still going to do what I can. But you're right. One of the main things we can do is if we have meat 1 time a week instead of 3 times a week, we've now done an enormous amount to change the climate of our planet, because the meat industry is a huge contributor to the gases that are in the earth. And how do we do that? But we're also talking about the fact that how do we make change? And we're all talking about being consumers. The other way to make change is legislatively, and that's Richard Whiteford, who's next week, will talk about that's how you make change. It's with the power of legislation, because these issues are enormous, and how do you deal with them? So, but that's exactly what it's thinking.
I'm gonna go back to Arlene's comment though. If I can save money and do something that is environmentally good, I'm right there.
Right.
So for me, the paper towels, that is money saving for me, because I bought those wash rags 20 years ago and they're still being wash rags.
I also went solar.
Did you? Solar panels? Yeah. So you're saving your electric bill? Yeah.
Even legislation isn't perfect. When the government says all federal vehicles, except for the post office because we can't get them on board, are to be electric, it's a huge shift in the way that the car industry goes about producing and how the world responds to it, and there'll be more charging stations. On the other hand, there are other issues. I mean, batteries aren't the best, and I mean, there are other things, but at least governmentally, it's a huge shift, and we'll find out if it's going to have the effect that it's desired. But that had to be a massive effort.
Right.
I'm not going to be political, swear to God, I'm going to be right down the middle. But I think it's so important for us to look at our values and what's important to us, and look at who's representing what and who has a history of what, because there are some, you will find a candidate with your values and your ethics, and it's super important. I can't tell you how important it is to go there November 8th and just vote. Oh,
And I'm gonna sneak out, but I'm gonna say one last thing. Braiding Sweetgrass, I keep pushing the book. It's next week. It's this week, I think. Is it next week? I don't know. Thursday night. Watch your calendar. But one of the premises of Braiding Sweetgrass, not only are we reminded to be stewards of the earth, but one of her premises is how is the earth thankful that we've been here, and that really changes my perspective, at least when I think about coming here going. And thank you very much.
You're welcome. Braiding Sweetgrass, come to the discussion on Zoom on Thursday, 7 o'clock on Zoom. Is the link on the website?
I think the link is going out in
an e-blast.
I was just gonna say, one category that's changed drastically, we talk a lot about food, but it's clothing. You know, you used to buy something and expect to wear it for 10 years, or, you know, you'd invest in like a winter coat or a, you know, dress skirt or something like that, and, you know, fast fashion, where, you know, the fashion industry really pushed buying new things every season. And, you know, we got used to being able to buy things really inexpensively. So I guess, I don't know, that, you know, that's just something to try and resist if you like to shop, or if you think you.
My New Year's resolution was I was not going to buy any new clothing for this year, 22.
Yeah,
I did have to buy a bathing suit, but that was the only thing I bought. And I bought this at a thrift store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then along the same lines, you know, buying used. Like I have a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
And he goes through and, you know, I have to buy him new clothes every year. I'm in the kids' consignment sales.
Yes.
Like it's cheaper, you know, and then I know that it's not going to the landfill because I'm, you know, basically recycling somebody else's old clothes, and I can sell his old clothes to somebody else who needs it, and like it can just get passed down. I mean, it's the same thing when you have younger siblings. Obviously, he's only one, so he doesn't have another sibling to have hand-me-downs. But being able to buy used stuff is, I think,
It's fabulous. Usually,
Even if you're squeamish about wearing used clothing, like at the thrift shop, kind of just got a whole carload full of stuff new with tags on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's never even worn.
Yeah, it's
I
never
thought
been
more
worn.
stuff like that with my kid, because like
Yeah.
somebody bought for their kid and the kid grew before they could get him into it.
Right, I don't know if that was the house that.
That we're talking about.
Somebody's house is being cleaned out and.
Yeah,
it's full of
somebody's-
clothes that were never worn.
Yeah.
and also too, sometimes I buy more expensive. These shoes are probably 5 years old.
Yeah.
I forget how much they cost. They weren't really cheap, but they look like new. But I do that too.
Quality.
It's getting very boring in my business. I bought in Ireland probably 3 or 4 years ago. I can't even remember when I bought these. Yeah, so
Making them last. Buying quality and making them last. What else? Let's see what's on my table. Oh, this. So if you've never, you can touch this if you like. This is beeswax wrap. Beeswax. However you say that. Instead of plastic wrap. And this,
cool.
yeah. I have 2 sizes of this. This is the smaller. And I just wrap my vegetables up, and then when they're done, I wipe it off and let it dry and stick it back in my drawer. So I've stopped using plastic wrap. What else? These I have to tell you, this was a gift.
Sorry. So Nani's almond chocolate biscotti. They had a huge container at Sam's Club, and I bought it. It's made with 40% recycled PET.
oh.
Well, it's not like that, but. Oh, and that's the plastic.
Oh.
PET.
Oh, F. Pets?
Are you missing your pen
I don't think it means dogs and cats. These were a cute gift that I got. You know, when I started telling my family I was like becoming environmentally conscious, they bought me all kind of stuff. Trying to watch my language. I'm on Facebook here somewhere. This was worthless. It's really sad to say. Like, you're supposed to be able to cut your onion and stick the other half in this cute little hole here and stick it in the refrigerator. it's too much of a pain.
Honestly, I like that.
Obviously you can see how nice and clean, and probably the only one I ever used was I put a cucumber in one of these, I don't know. And it was just, it was a cute, you know, how do you say that? Now, don't hate me. Like, people are taking advantage of those of us who are trying to do the right thing by creating, I mean, these are plastic. By creating something, yes, reusable plastic, true, but, you know, like, at some point, you have to make a smart decision, and this was not a smart decision. Luckily, it wasn't me. I did switch to toilet paper that is made from bamboo and is not packaged in plastic. And I switched to reusable. This is, this is made from bamboo also. Tissues, you want to try them, I don't mind opening them. If you wanted like bamboo, really, I mean, that's what I did. I bought one thing and said I gotta try this. The other one of my favorites is solid shampoo and cream rinse. That was such an easy switch to go from not needing a plastic bag, a plastic bottle of shampoo. That was a huge switch. And I do want to spend, because I know Laura has questions. We're still recycling plastic bags. So we're not getting quite as many as we used to, and that could be because of Wegmans stuff. But so all kind of plastic bags, and if you haven't seen the flyer in a while, Ziploc bags, grocery bags, bread bags, bubble wrap, newspaper sleeves, ice bags, plastic shipping envelopes, Ziploc, I said cereal bags, case wrap, so that's if you buy, which please don't tell me if you do, buy a case of bottles of water, you know, the plastic that's around the case, not the bottles of water. Some big bags, like people bring dog food bags, some of them are not recyclable depending on what they're made out of.
That's a take bubble wrap, is that what you said?
Bubble wrap, yeah, bubble wrap. Produce bags, now they do have to be clean and dry. And all you have to do is bring them, and the coat closet there has a big garbage bin, just throw them in there. We've already received 2 park benches that are up at Nativity Youth Camp that the kids hauled up there, put together.
They put it together themselves.
They put it together themselves, and they're up there at Nativity Youth Camp, which is great. I mean, that's.
Is that the goal, keep adding benches, or is there anything else that you use?
I think that company just
The free thing that you get is a park bench. It's Trex, and my mom just had new decking put at her house, and she bought Trex for the flooring. And I said, Mom, all those grocery bags that you've been recycling, that's where they are. They're now on your deck. So she's very excited.
Well, I think there's opportunity, and if there's other organizations that need a bench, like as we're collecting, we can certainly the benches.
Well, although I will say that our collection has really, the rule is you have to collect 500 pounds of plastic in a 6-month span of time. And because of COVID, they sort of left the 6-month span of time. They got rid of that rule. Well, now they're back to the 6-month rule. So we're probably only getting 300 pounds in a 6-month span of time. So, I mean, we'll keep recycling, don't get me wrong. We'll keep recycling the plastic bags.
So maybe
you can
in the bulletin again, because I haven't brought mine just because I figured that it was just getting rid of it, and so I took them somewhere else.
Well, take them somewhere else, that's totally fine. I mean, you can take all of this stuff to the grocery store and put it in that little bin that's outside the grocery store door.
Do they do anything with it though, really?
They send it to Trex, it all goes to the same place, yeah. Yeah. No, they said, well, I shouldn't say that. My understanding is that the grocery stores, Giant Weiss, Wegmans, all send their plastic to the same place. And all I'm doing is bringing it here, it gets here, I bag it up and drop it off at the Weiss, because that's the grocery store that's closest to me. I drop it off on my way home from church, so I got 2 bags in my car now. So, if it's convenient for you to drop it off here, that's great. If it's not, do your own thing. It's just the point, recycle.
Easier at the grocery store.
Kathy, does the bubble wrap include, now we get a lot of packaged stuff.
Yes.
And it's almost like tubes. Is that?
With
is
air
that-
fill,
yes.
yeah, I
Is
just
that-
pop them with a scissor,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
so that, because it's plastic with air
Okay.
fill, right? I just pop with a scissor to cut down space, but.
But if it's in a paper bag, if it's a mailer that's attached to paper.
Well, that's what Laura has, so show us your bag there, Laura. She's got a paper mailer that's got bubble wrap on the inside.
Right, so
I don't know what to say about those.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
I've been putting those in paper recycling, but I could be totally wrong. I don't know.
I didn't think you could put bubbles in.
Yeah, I could be totally wrong.
I didn't think so, which is why I didn't want to assume, so.
Because there are
Yeah.
newer ones that they're all paper, but it has the.
There are newer ones that are all paper, and there are newer ones that are all plastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I still see some of these occasionally, and
Yeah. I don't know.
Anybody know where peanuts, the.
styrofoam,
Yes.
we cannot
It's like the
recycle
center in
it.
Allentown, we used to take that, we had to bring it there, obviously, but I don't think they do that anymore.
My understanding is they don't.
Yeah, soybean.
Well, I know it's,
Specifically,
but I don't
once
think
you
that's what
know.
you get, right. You,
When
yes,
Jean-
you used to be able to bring peanuts back to you, yes. I don't know if they still do that or not.
I haven't seen peanuts in a long time. When Gene Woodyat was still here, he looked into styrofoam and couldn't find anywhere to recycle styrofoam. So I don't know. I took his word for it and didn't really put a lot of energy into that.
Well, that was a long time ago.
That was quite a long time ago.
That's why I don't know. I'm guessing not, because I think once all the recycling centers stopped taking it, they all stopped taking it.
The other thing I've been doing, we're almost done. The other thing I've been doing is looking for glass things in food in glass jars as opposed to plastic. And I have not found many. Salad dressing, I mean, unless you're willing to spend $6 on a bottle of salad dressing that's in glass, I mean, becomes again, how much money are you willing to put into that? I don't know.
So save the ones you have. I
reuse these, and I actually take them to FD Market, and if I collect too many glass jars, I'll save them and drop them off there, because they'll sell you a glass jar to put whatever you're buying, hand cream, shampoo, whatever you're gonna buy there from their refillery. But if they receive these, they'll say, oh, a customer dropped off a bunch of things, do you want one of those? And I'll take these and drop them off.
I have a dozen glass jars that are a pint. They're usable for canning, but for anything that's glass, I try to return them to the company that uses them, and they said they're not allowed to take them back.
Yeah. They don't want to deal. They just don't want to deal.
Anybody wants one, I'll be happy to.
Yeah.
Do they have lids? What? Do they have lids?
Yes.
Yeah.
I use them for everything, but.
You can only have so many.
That's
I use glass jars for a lot of things, but you can only have so many.
Right.
My kitchen's on this big.
I did find this summer a standardized plastic lid, but they have 2 sizes, a large and a small, that fits any mason jar. So you know how the mason jars, you have a separate lid, and one gets rusty, or you use one and anything. So I bought a couple of those too.
Okay.
Because I take stuff to work in mason jar all the time, like soup or something. So now I can always just use one of those lids if I can't find the 2 parts of the other lids.
I also want to say I've been saving my cardboard boxes that I receive deliveries, saving those and donating them to FD Market, so that when they're doing online orders, they're reusing cardboard boxes. So, and I, you know, how many other small businesses, do you know small business owners? Do you know a small business owner who might be shipping things that they can reuse cardboard boxes? I don't get, you know, big, huge boxes, but the smaller kind is what they're looking for. And I'm anxious to talk to the people who own this new store that opened up last month and find out whether they want, because that is definitely closer for me than.
Yeah, if anybody knows people who are moving, we always get, because I do the buying for historic Bethlehem, for
Yeah.
our gift shop, we get some really nice boxes, sturdy
Oh,
boxes.
yeah,
that
yeah.
pains me to put those in recycle bins. I think, you know, if somebody's moving or storage, and some are good, some are really nice. Same with packing materials.
You can take your packing boxes to home. They always have an area where you can leave boxes if you want to go pick them up for free.
And not just
Do you like
boxes.
popcorn?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
that's what I was doing. I was doing
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know they took boxes other than like their own.
Oh, yeah, no, we can take those.
I've done that several times.
Marion?
Yes, the moving boxes on Craigslist.
Or Facebook Marketplace.
People come, leave them right outside your garage, people just come and take
We
them.
don't have a garage, so.
There's a Lehigh Valley Buy Nothing group on Facebook that people are always listing.
Popcorn.
Like,
This popcorn was left over,
I know
it's
this
left
one
over
came
from
from
Friday night's
It's
baby.
It's
Donated
Lehigh
by
Valley Buy
the-
Nothing.
Oh, my goodness.
Donated by Clusters Popcorn, Clusters Popcorn. Alan, do you eat a popcorn?
Yeah, we were getting rid of some share. Got like a few diets. Okay. Okay, we're doing my own diet.
Thank you all so much.
Post on the Facebook group.
This was a great conversation. Did you learn something?
Yeah.
Just say yes. Thank you.
Tons.
I certainly did.
Yeah.
Thousands of uses for old t-shirts.
There's oh, by the way, this afternoon, I forgot to say this, this afternoon, Monocacy Farm Project Food Festival.
So it's straight sitting across the bottom
And if anybody wants to buy
Because the
Right. Oh, yeah.
Coffee cups for sale.
Where do you bring
I mean, I still send it. What
Batteries plus.
Batteries plus.
I never got Lehigh Street, Allentown, or near like the car dealership.
Oh, batteries
plus.
I know, I probably have a bag of
Say
them.
something else.
I was in there once to try to get a cell phone, but I saw the sign.
Yeah.
Very Oh, really? I'm not sure about that. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, this was fun. Coffee cups for sale, $20.
But I put water in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Or ice water.
Yeah.
It's not.
But that's, you know, that's